All right, so we're going to be learning about today the early American civilizations, lesson 7, Tenochtitlan, center of the Aztec Empire. What makes a civilization? So we know that a civilization includes farming, so agriculture and um, raising animals, and then religion, social classes, art and architecture. Remember, architecture means buildings. And then also government and a way to write down information. Right. And our lesson objectives for today. Our students will determine the main ideas and key details about the Aztec capital city of Tenochtitlan and use information to compare and contrast the Maya and Aztec civilizations. Students will develop paraphrased information into a logical explanatory paragraph for their codex projects. Our lesson guiding question: how do the ancient Maya and Aztec civilizations compare and contrast? Review. What are some of the key details that we learned about the ancient Maya civilizations? When we know that the cities were set up with a temple or a pyramid at the center and a temple on top of the pyramid. Around that areas where they had different ceremonies and so forth. They had symbols that were used for recording information. They had games that were not only, just fun games, but also sort of ceremonies within themselves to um, symbolize some certain thing. I know this one right here, Pakatok, was used to symbolize the rising and setting of the sun. And then we have the farmers, so agriculture, and some of the different techniques that were used. You had people digging canals, you had people digging into the land and the side of mountains in order to plant plants and food. Then you also had a slash and burn technique that was used in the rainforests so that they could plant food out there. They also had myths, which had to do with their specific religion, their beliefs about how things were created, including the earth and the corn people. What are some possible explanations for why the ancient Maya civilizations declined? In chapter 3, we learned about the possible lack of rainfall because of climate change, diseases that were spread by Spanish settlers that came in, and then also the possible um, difficulty to find areas to plant because they had done all of that chopping and so forth and building structures and ended up changing the climate in that way. All right, our vocabulary lesson for lesson 7, it can be found on page 63. Here's our first word: swampy, resembling wet, spongy land, often partially covered with water. So here you find a swampy area. The land that the Aztec finally claimed may seem an unlikely choice to swampy islands in the middle of Lake Texcoco. Uh, what part of speech is this word? It is an adjective. Swampy is describing the islands. Then we have habitat fit to live in. The Aztec adapted their swampy environment by creating habitable land from the lake bottom. Habitable. So, habitable land. Habitable is describing land, so it is an adjective. Marsh. Soft, wet land, often overgrown with grasses. So it is land, which is a noun because a person, place, or thing, place being land, is a noun. Artificially, in a way that does not exist in nature. So, artificially is the way that they filled the lakeshore. Filled is a verb. Artificially is describing the way that it's filled. So that would be an adverb. Emperor is a ruler who has total control of a region. Emperor is a person, so emperor would be a noun. Commoner, a person who is not part of the noble class. Again, we have a person. Commoner is a person, so that is a noun. Is pointed. So you can see on this hut right here, it has a peaked thatched roof. Peaked is describing the roof. So what part of speech is that word? It would be an adjective. Transport is to carry from one place to another. Transport, to carry, would be something that you can do, so that would be a verb. Bustling, busy with activity. Bustling marketplaces fill Tenochtitlan and other cities. Marketplaces is being described by bustling. What kind of marketplaces were they? Bustling. So that would be an adjective. Bustling simply means busy with activity. Nourishment. Food and other things that are needed to live and be healthy. Food is a thing. Person, place, or thing is a noun. So nourishment would be a noun. All right, our purpose for reading today is to determine the main idea and key details about the Aztec capital city of Tenochtitlan and use information to compare and contrast the Maya and the Aztec civilizations. So in our next video, we're going to read that chapter 5.